Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White. I am your host for Keeping It Real on Purpose. We are so glad you're with us today. Today, we'll have a great guest who is an author, and she's going to be sharing her book, Finding Freedom. And we want to welcome her on the show today. Welcome to the show, Melissa Rohlfs. Did I say it right? Rohlfs?
Rohlfs like golfs.
Rolf, like golfs.
Yeah.
Rolfs. Okay, Melissa Rolfs. Nice to
Thank
have you
you.
here.
I'm
You're
excited to be here.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, how do you show up in the world?
Yes, I'm a wife. I'm a mom. I've got two teenagers, so sometimes I'm a little bit
Oh.
frazzled, but most of the time I'm helping teen girls and women find freedom from the struggle with food. So wear lots of different hats like most of us.
Yeah, yeah. I don't like too many hats, but I think I think you all one beautiful person. We just figure it out. All our pieces belongs in us. So I think that's a really great thing. It's important. All pieces of us, all facets, all the roles are all important to us, right? So,
100%.
100%. So, how do you help young teenagers or women, as you say, with their issues with food? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I think the hard thing with food, Edna, is that a lot of us, we need food to survive, right? Like it's
Oh,
not like
absolutely.
something that we can be addicted to that we don't need, like drugs or alcohol or smoking or whatever that may be. Food is like a necessity. And so I think it's easy for us to turn to that because it's legal, it's socially acceptable. And so it's really helping them kind of unpack their relationship with food and their bodies and their lives. Because again, those are all connected, kind of like you spoke of earlier. They're all the pieces that make
Yeah,
us who we are and how we relate to
yeah,
food. So
yeah. And I see that you're in a kitchen, if you don't mind me saying that, right?
I am.
I like it. So, is there something you can grab right now and share something nutritional or whatever you could? Just grab something right now from that kitchen?
Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I mean, I can open my pantry, my fridge, like, yes, there are lots of things I could grab, but I don't know what.
Well, pick something. I'm sure that you have a jewel that we can really, get some edification from. So pick something.
Well, I'm not going to get it for you because it's not very pretty, but I will tell you for lunch, I had some leftover butternut squash and it is my favorite.
Okay.
Like, it is so good. You can buy it
Okay.
diced and you can buy it frozen, or you can buy it in like the butternut and you can cut it. But roasted butternut squash is so good. It's so yummy. It kind of satisfies like those sweet taste buds, but yet it's nourishing for you. It's got lots of
Okay.
vitamins and minerals. So right now I would grab butternut squash.
Yeah, I did have that one time, and I like the fact that it's easy to do. So I have like some allergies, and I have to be very careful. And I love fruit and I love vegetables, so it's easy to incorporate. Once I find it's easy to cook, yes, it's like yes, that's my best friend. So I do
Yes.
love the butternut squash. How do you roast it? If you're in a kitchen like such as yours, without any grill or anything, how do you roast it?
Yeah, I just put it in the oven at 350. I sprinkle it with some olive oil, maybe some
Okay.
garlic salt. Cinnamon would probably be good too. But I love that sweet and savory, so I do the garlic salt and I just cook it for like 30 minutes and
Okay.
it's
Yeah. And so you don't have to boil it or nothing after that once you roast it. Perfect. I got you.
I'm
I'm
a
on
big
it.
fan of
I'm on it.
roasted
I'm on it. I'm on it. Oh, I do have a question for you. Okay.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with the book just yet. But
Okay.
so I met this guy the other day. I was in my friend's store and he said I think he used the word, I'm cooking a liver friendly meal. So
Okay.
he shared with me this recipe that was instead of sauce, because I love sauce.
Hmm.
Love sauce. And he used roasted peppers.
Okay.
Do you know that one?
No,
Tell
I
me, could you
don't.
share? You don't know that one? Oh my goodness.
I
I
don't know
thought
that
you
one because I like
would.
sauce too.
I love sauce. I love sauce so much, but it doesn't love me all the time.
Mm.
So he said let's see, red peppers,
Okay.
either you buy in the jar, a roasted, you buy
Hmm.
them in the
Yeah.
jar. right? And you some mushrooms, some milk, and he
Mm-hmm.
said use not and anything with animal fat, no animal fat. So he said use what's it called, almond milk,
Yep.
a little bit of cornstarch to make it thicken,
Thicker. Mm-hmm.
and some mushrooms. So blend it all together in the blender with your spices, whatever spice you want to put in, and it will come up to the consistency and the coloring of sauce. So I'm gonna
Nice.
do that today. I thought you knew it. I'm like, oh man,
I
I
don't,
thought you
but look at
knew
what you
it.
taught me. So thank you.
I was like, I thought you knew it for sure. Because I was so excited because I didn't want to go to the store. I hate
Mm-hmm.
shopping. And I
Yep.
was like, what in the refrigerator could I eat or put together? Because I'm great
Yeah.
with that. Like I'll put things together and like voila, it's like this meal.
Yes.
And when he told me that, I got excited about going to the store. I was like, okay, I'm going to the store now and get these items. So I'm going to try it today. So I'm
Okay.
excited about trying this. So I want to hear from you, audience. You too, guys. Like, if you try this out, look for this recipe because I really want to try it. I got to give up sauce. I got to give up sauce. So anyway, I'm sorry, Melissa. We done
You're good. Let us
diverged
know what you think of it because I
left.
want to know.
We done diverged and went all over the place about your book. So I
Oh,
did
good.
turn down a couple of pages, and I
Okay.
wanted you to just share with our audience, um, without them knowing what's really in the book, but I do, what you meant by it. So I'm on chapter 4, right?
Okay.
So you've been fed a bunch of crap, literally. I love the title. Share what you meant by the whole chapter because it was good.
Okay, so my biggest complaint, and I'm not very popular for this, is that our food isn't really food. Like we have been given so many processed ingredients that our bodies were never meant to digest. And
Yeah,
so there's a lot of things that we don't know how to handle. It's not really food and it doesn't serve us. It doesn't help our health. It doesn't help our nutrition. It doesn't help our metabolism. It doesn't help our body. It's really not food, but it's addictive. And so it makes us want more, but it's not really nourishing us.
yeah, yeah. So you said something about preservatives. Share your insight on preservatives because I feel that they're not great either because they seem to upset my stomach a lot and actually give me a headache. Like
Mhm.
a little headache after eating. I want to say maybe the easiest one I could say is like salami, bologna, things like that. I seem to get like a slight headache. But explain to us, share about that preservatives things, and that's really important for our bodies. To share that.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot of ingredients that are put into foods that actually cause things like cancer. They're not great
Mm,
for us. Some of those would be nitrates and like your processed meats, kind of like you mentioned, the salami and
yeah,
even bacon. A lot of deli meat has nitrates in it. That's not great
yeah.
for us.
That's what that
Um,
is.
yes. Yep.
Nitrates. Oh my
Yes.
God. Wow. Could that be associated with, is it similar to sulfates that's in wine or no?
No, that's a good question. I don't know. How do you do with sulfates? Do you do okay with them or no?
I clog up
Okay.
instantly is I get mucus all over, my joints get tight, my stomach gets bloated
Okay.
instantly. It's like a little sip over.
That's so
Could that be
interesting. I wonder if there is a correlation.
You're making me think now. Like you're really making me think. So let me ask you, I do like bacon. What
Mhm.
could I eat instead?
Nitrate-free
What could I
bacon.
eat
It's a thing.
instead? I love it. I do. So what can we do instead? Like, can we get a
N-
different type of bacon or no?
Sure, you could, yeah. I mean, just look for nitrate-free bacon. It's a thing.
Oh, it
So you could
is.
do,
It
yep,
is.
yep, it totally
Okay.
is. Some people like turkey bacon. I think it
Okay.
just
Yeah,
kind
I
of
love that.
depends. I'm a big proponent of knowing where your food comes from. So even if you
Right.
had like a farmer or a processing, like somebody you knew that you could ask them what they're putting into the meat,
Okay.
that would even be helpful too.
Okay. Okay. That's good. What's good? What's the difference? And maybe you could help me. I know I'm on bacon. It's terrible.
It's okay.
Cured
Bacon is
bacon.
okay.
Cured bacon.
Mhm.
That's what nitrates too. Or what did you say? With nitrates too? Is that what that in there as well?
I don't know if the cured bacon would have nitrates or not.
Okay, okay. Is there a big difference, with the ones that are processed versus cured, or is it the same process?
I have no idea. This is what I can tell you to do. Because
Okay,
this is like my biggest takeaway. Read
okay.
the label. Like on the back, I think we've been so programmed to look at
Gotcha.
like the calories and the grams of fat and the carbs and
Okay.
all that, but look at the ingredients. Like it'll tell you on there, like contains nitrates. If it contains nitrates, you don't want that. So look for
That's
the
very good.
bacon that doesn't have the nitrates.
That's very good. That's good information. Audience, please do that. Now, not only do I have to read the labels on my
Mhm.
food
Mhm.
in the grocery store, I got to read the meats.
Yep.
This is some
Everything.
serious stuff. How did you get into doing this? Like, what brought you to this point to write this book and be so concerned about food?
It was my own journey. I mean, I grew up, so gosh, there's a whole lot to it. Let me try to condense it for you. So growing up, I grew up on the standard American diet. Like my mom was just visiting over the weekend and we were talking about my lunch as a kid was a slice of Velveeta with two white pieces of bread. Like no nutritional
Ooh,
value, Doritos, Coke,
yes.
like just not great. But I didn't
Yeah.
know that, right? Like I only thought that food was about weight.
Yeah.
Fast forward to me getting married and having kids. We had a newborn baby who wasn't sleeping, so I was exhausted. Our daughter had some undiagnosed food allergies, some sensory processing challenges. My husband was traveling for work, and I just gotten diagnosed with PTSD from childhood trauma. So perfect storm, hot mess
Woo.
express right here. Through
Yes.
my healing
Wow.
journey, I learned about the impact of food on overall health, on mental health, on emotional health,
Okay.
on energy, about it being more than just weight. And so I think through my healing journey, I really kind of grabbed hold of this like, oh my gosh, people need
Mhm.
to know this because it affects your children's behavior, it affects your mood, it
Sure.
affects everything. So that's how I
Yes.
got into it.
Oh my goodness. You said a whole mouthful. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said all of it because it does have a play on your mood and everything. Um, I didn't know I had a gluten allergy, right? For years. I didn't know. I had no idea. And becoming an adult, I would always eat and have to lay down. So they called it itis, right? They called it itis.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
but I was really sick. I was like, I couldn't
mhm.
wake up. I literally didn't feel well. And I was lethargic and my joints were tight. And it was not until I went to China, stayed there 9 months, right? 9 months, came back home, had something, and had a seizure. I had a whole seizure, fell out, didn't know what it was, went to the hospital. Just so happened, the person that saw me, she's like, "What did you eat?" After all the tests, they couldn't find anything. She said, "What did you eat?" So I was telling her, just came home. My son made me stuffed shells. Da, da, da. I'm saying all the stuff. My son had like a smorgasbord, right? I had all the stuff I didn't have. And she said, "Ask your son to read the back of the label." So she
Yes.
read all the things. She's like, "I think what we're going to have to do, I think you have some sensitivity to foods. And I think what we're going to have to do is take out things that have like flour and things like that. Anything white, this is what she said, anything white, I don't want you to have for the next 2 weeks. And I want to see how you feel." So, of course, everything white, I loved.
Yep.
But it was so hard. It took me years to kind of get it under control. I found I was very allergic to MSG. Gluten was like top of the line, and I was lactose intolerant. Who
Okay.
knew? Who knew? I didn't know that because, like you said, from your life as a child, it didn't affect you, but it started affecting me like really, really bad. And once it's out of your system, it's like a drug. Once it's out of your system, it's a shock when you come back and start it again. So I know what you're saying. It rhymes right. It really rhymes right. It bothers you so badly. It really affects you, you know?
Yes. And it's so
Okay, so
interesting to me that you were away and out of the country and were fine, but then you came back. That goes back to the load of crap, right? Like it's not really food. Look at how it affected you.
and that's your title. We've been fed a load of crap, literally. I went to Italy, and I know you probably you
Yes.
can really appreciate that. I went to Italy, right? So I'm at the restaurant, and so I'm like, "Excuse me, do you have gluten-free noodles?" He says, "Gluten? What gluten? Manja, manja. We don't have that."
Hmm.
I was not sick at
Yes.
all.
Yep.
I ate cheese,
Yep.
not sick
Yep.
at all. I could not believe it. Came home. I said, I could not believe that I was there. I was in Florence. I think I was in Florence. And I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe the difference. And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about, gluten. No, we don't got that. We don't have that. Manja. He just told me to manja. Eat, eat, eat. And I'm like, but it's true. Well, in America, and I hate to say this, and I think I say it all the time to my kids, they package things to make it stay on the shelf longer,
Yep.
and we have to be so very, just like we're very vigilant about our health with the doctors, we have to be very vigilant at the grocery store. So I think what your book really taught me is finding that freedom that, yes, I have a lot to say for the grocery store. Yeah. When I go to the grocery store, it takes me 45 minutes for 4 items. Yes, that's why I don't
Yep.
like to go, but I have to do it. It's important for your life and your family's life. And that's what living freedom is. I love it. I love it.
Thank
So
you.
I read a part that I like, that I know I'm in the stage right now. Learning how to eat for my body, working out, and Bible study were all keys to my journey, but they weren't the whole journey. Share with us your whole journey.
Yeah, so it's so funny because I think that when people think like they're going to change their health, those are what they automatically think of, right? It's like, oh, I'm going to, work on my faith, that that's important to you, like it was
Yeah.
to me. And I'm going to work on my movement and my diet. But so, like, that's just a small piece of the puzzle. The other piece are your habits and your mindset and your beliefs. Because, yes, because your beliefs affect your thoughts
Right.
affect your actions and your words, and that's where everything flows from. So sometimes we have to change our beliefs. Like I had to change my belief that, maybe this food that I grew up on wasn't what was best for me, and I had to learn how to figure that out for myself.
Yeah. It's true. When you were talking, I think about I'm the eldest in my family, so when my mom when my mom had me, she was working more, so I didn't know how to really cook anything. So it's a good thing for me, because coming from the Black culture, I was like, oh, you don't cook black? And I was like, what's black? I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Had no idea. I knew it had to do with collard greens and things like that. And I was like,
Mhm.
I don't like all the grease. I don't like this, and I don't like that. So it was important for me to establish that early, because at the end, it affected my children. They knew what it was, but they were like, well, that's not really good for you, because even though it tastes good, it has no value. And I learned that early, because I had to learn how to cook for them, and then make sure that I had a budget, because I had a budget. I was young, I had a budget, but I had to make sure that I was cooking wholesome and good, solid meals. So when you said that, culture even has a part in that mindset. It has a whole thing, right?
Totally. I mean, think about society. We throw sugar at kids at parades. I mean, it's socially acceptable, it's legal, but yeah, is it any benefit? Is it valuable? No. So let's just throw it at them. I mean,
I didn't even think about that. That's a good one, Lewis. That's a good one.
I think
Very
about a lot
good.
of these things.
I did, you just made me think about Christmas is coming, and Santa
Yes.
Claus drives down the street and he's throwing this mints.
Yep.
Oh my goodness! If they
Mhm.
just get a bag of 5 pound sugar and just throw that would
Yep.
send a big message. It's a good one. It's a really good one. So I'm at page 65, and you talk about um, transformation. And on the bottom of number 5 was set up accountability. How can we set up accountability to change some of those habits that we have, or even the way we eat?
Yeah, I think a couple things are having a support system, whether that's people that are in your corner and cheering you on. And here's the thing about that. Like, I think sometimes we don't want to change because we don't want to affect our relationships because belonging
Absolutely.
needs to be the same as. And so we have maybe have this like subconscious fear that if we change, it's going to affect our relationship. So make sure that you have somebody who is definitely on your side and okay with you changing and having that transformation and getting your desired results. So that can be a big piece, is having, friends or neighbors or whoever that is. But then also coaching can be really helpful for that. That's how I really made my change, because
Right.
our habits are so ingrained in us that to really like learn how to rewire those habits, I needed more than just my friends and people who cheered me on.
Yeah, yeah, you do need that. I needed the doctor to tell me that. I really needed the doctor to say, "Hey, this is you got to change this," and it made I'm glad I did. I really it's the best thing I ever done. I'm older now and no bone aches, and I've had breaks in my body, so I thought it was I really have to make sure that, okay, Edna, you got to stay on point with food, because food was the problem for
Mhm.
me. It was my problem. You know, I'm gonna tell you, Melissa, I took a piece of page 83 from your book, added it to my journal,
Okay.
because I was like, this is a great question.
Mm.
And it says, everything we say, do, and think has impact. Now, here's the question. I love it, Melissa. I took it already. I'm not taking it. I took it. Is your life making the impact you desire or know you're meant to have? When I read that, I just dropped the whole book, and I was like, that's not even for this book. This is for me right now. Am I really acting and doing the things I am meant to do if I'm eating all this stuff that I know up here, I know in here in my stomach, I'm not supposed to have? Melissa, this question just made me just put the book down and said the question was worth the entire book. It really, I say this question now, and I give you credit. I said, Melissa, and I say your name, the name of the book, this is where it came from. But I use this is a very important question. Share what made you say that in the book, why you said it in the book.
Yeah, because I think I wasn't doing that. Like, I feel like I had all of this potential and all of these gifts and all of these ways that I could serve the world, but I wasn't doing it because I was so caught up in my struggles and in my thoughts and my words and my actions. But once I started to heal and change and transform that, it was like, oh my goodness, like it was almost like the scales came off of my eyes, if you will, and I could see clearly. The brain fog
Yeah.
was gone. I had energy, and I'm like, oh, kind of feel like I'm alive, like I'm meant to be
Yeah.
here, and like I have a
Yeah.
purpose.
Yeah. I agree with that brain fog thing, because I remember having brain fog, and I was driving somewhere, completely forgot where I was going,
Mhm.
who I was seeing, and I pulled over on the side of the road. I called my friend. I was like, she's like, "What's the matter? Is everything okay?" I was like, "I'm sitting on the side of the road, and I don't know where I was going. Am I having dementia early?" And she goes, "No, no, 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 you're not having that. Remember, you're having challenges with the gluten. It could be that." So I was like, I still don't know where I'm going while we're talking about this. I had no idea where I was going. And it was the scariest thing to me. That's what made me really say, forget this. Forget this. It's not worth having that burger. Forget that. No, it's just not. And so I know this question is so important. What you've written and shared needs to be broadcast. It really does, because it's so important. This book, as small as it is, I know it's small, compact, guys, but it really, I've read some books about food. This makes it so simple, and it just kept piercing me. I was like, oh God, oh God. It really just pierced me. Melissa, is there
Mhm.
anything you can additional that you can share with our audience, that to take away from this entire book, so that they can go out and get this book or call you to speak? Is there anything that you can share with them?
I just want people to know that you can change. Like, I think for so long, Edna, I thought that I was stuck and that it was always going to be this way and I can't do anything. And I had excuse after excuse after excuse. But eventually those began to break away. And it was like, oh my gosh, I can change. I can transform. I can be free. And if it happened for me, it can happen for others as well. So I just want them to know that they can change and hope is possible.
Okay, audience, you heard that. You can change. Go out to the stores, go to Amazon, Finding Freedom. Melissa Rolf's book, Overcome Your Obstacles to Living a Free and Fulfilled Life. And it's all about what you eat, ladies and gentlemen. Get this book. I'm telling you, you will not be sorry. Thanks so much for being here. This is your guest. This is your host, Edna White, and my guest, Melissa Rolfs, saying bye for now.
Thank you.